Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Mirror's guide to all things Christmas TV. We are 7 days into December now, so finally I think we can chat about it. I'm Kyle O'Sullivan, features writer for the Mirror Online, and I'm joined by our TV guru, it's Daily Mirror TV editor, Nicola Methven.
Hello.
So, guys, please comment below with any questions. Tell us what things you're looking forward to this year, and we'll do our best to answer them and get some of those on screen. So, Nicola, we'll start with I think the one that everyone's talking about. It starts tonight, The Vicar of Dibley. It's a bit different with this format. How's it changing from a normal episode?
Well, it sounds as though this time it'll be Geraldine doing it a bit like this on a screen, because that's the only way she can talk to her parishioners. But the exciting thing is that she's back at all, because it's so long since we've really seen. I think they did a little special last year or in the summer, but really we haven't seen much from her at all. And it's just nice, isn't it? They're only 10 minutes long, and then they're going to put the 3 10-minute ones together as a sort of Christmas special, I suppose. I think near Christmas, but yeah, exciting.
And obviously, it's garnered a bit of. There's been a bit of controversy, a bit of tension. I mean, the one today I've seen, people are even looking at a cross and saying it's the wrong way round and it's satanic and things like that. There's obviously it's going to be quite topical. She's going to talk about Black Lives Matter. Obviously, yes, she's in lockdown.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you think it'll be sort of nice to see how she sort of how people on our shows are coping in our real life world?
I can't see it being that controversial. I don't know why the cross thing. I don't think Geraldine Granger's satanic in any way. I think, but it's interesting that she'll obviously be addressing issues now in the pandemic and talking as though Dibley is in lockdown like the rest of us. So let's see. I mean, I imagine it will be funny and sweet like it always is, but quite poignant, because there's people that are going to be referred to that are no longer there, and I think that will be, that might be a bit sad for us to watch, but mostly I think it will be hopefully a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got a little clip here of Dawn French talking about the new specials.
So listen, tell me about The Vicar of Dibley, because it's slightly different. What can we expect?
Well, we asked ourselves, and by we I mean Richard Curtis and Paul Mayhew Archer and I, asked ourselves, what would Geraldine be doing in the lockdown? Of course, she'd be on the webcam talking to all her parishioners. So that's what we've done. We've made 9 little tiny films where she, through the power of Zoom, is connecting with everybody. And it's funny and silly as she's talking to folk, and she's doing a sort of newsletter and a sermon. And we've tried to be light and funny, but we also remember those who aren't with us anymore. And there's a eulogy to Alice there, which wasn't very easy for me to film, but was important to do.
I'll bet, because she was fantastic, wasn't she, Emma? And taken away too soon, far too soon.
So yeah, as you said, obviously that would be quite sad with Emma Chambers obviously not being there, but we've always been told there's going to be a little, obviously at the end of most episodes there was a little, she'd make a joke at the end that Alice would never get, and this time she's going to do it with Hugo, and so we've been told to wait for something special there.
Get it or he won't. I'm going to say he might get it for the first.
Yeah, we hope. Dawn French is also so she's starring in Roald and Beatrix. So she's playing Beatrix Potter, and it's about how she met with a 6-year-old Roald Dahl. So yeah, Dawn is all over our screens this year. Moving on, we've got one that is very controversial. It's a bit like Marmite, you either love it or hate it. Mrs. Brown's Boys. Mrs. Brown's back. She's doing an alternative Queen's speech, which I'm sure will be very offensive. Nicola, what are you a lover or a hater?
I weirdly, I'm somewhere in between, in that I don't watch it avidly, but I know people do love it. It gets good ratings, especially at Christmas. It's just one of those bankers for the BBC, and it gets knocked, and I think it's a bit unfair, because it's fairly it's funny for if you like that sort of thing, and your gran probably likes it, and your mum and dad like it, and that's okay, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably what. Yeah, once you've had a few sherries, it's what everyone gets around the TV. Yeah, it's a good one. I think there's going to be. We've been told it's going to be a bit topical. So there's going to be a cupboard full of toilet rolls. She's going to have a mask across the tree. So yeah, who knows what sort of gags they'll be doing. And that's on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So you've got double bubble.
Double bubble, Mrs. Brown. There you go.
And then moving on to something that's on Boxing Day, it's the return of the Masked Singer. So not particularly festive, but it's back. Obviously, it was such a success last year. Do you think they'll be able to build on that for a second time round?
I think so. I was expecting this to start in January, actually. So it's quite interesting they've put it on Boxing Day. But it's exactly the sort of thing that people might feel like watching. It's fun, it's silly, it's upbeat. And from what I've heard, the names this year are really good because obviously now everybody knows what it is. Last year, they were trying to attract celebrities to come and hide inside the costumes, and they didn't really know whether it was going to work in the UK. They only had the American version to look at. Now they've seen it, it works. And by all accounts, you know, they're instantly recognizable. Because I think even the presenter said there was a couple of times when the head came off and he wasn't too sure who it was. So yeah, I've got high hopes for it this time.
So there's obviously different costumes this year. We've got like the likes of Alien, Robin, Badger. There's even a sausage. There's been a few stories recently about they're sort of worried about leaks. And that the audience might give it away. Do you think that's more of a fear this year because obviously people know what it is now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they were worried about it last year. I remember that was a big thing. And that was pre-COVID when everyone could just sort of turn up and run around. I think now, surely they filmed this in the middle of lockdown. The chances of you know, there would have been far fewer people involved. So presumably that makes the chance of a leak less. And also, they filmed it now. So if it was going to leak, it would have perhaps started already. And it hasn't. And I think people know that it just would totally ruin it. So hopefully that won't happen.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And now something that's a little flashback now. We got the story of SMTV Live. So we got Ant, Dec and Cat Deeley sort of taking a look back at the Saturday morning kids show. I mean, this is a bit too old for me, but this one that you were in seeing your kids.
Yeah, no, not my kids. My kids wouldn't have a clue. This is me. This is my era, and I loved this, and my little sister loved this. You know, this was what and so just to hear them go back through it all and perhaps reenact some of the classic bits, Wonky Donkey, all the things we can remember. I just think that would be really interesting for people who are my sort of age.
And I mean, do you think there's any chance this could come back as sort of a full series? Is this sort of like testing the water here?
I mean, it would be nice, but I don't think so. I think Ant and Dec are pretty busy with other stuff. Yeah. And Cat Deeley, I don't know, is she based in America now, or if she? But I don't know if they would do a full thing. But as a special, I think it will be, you know, just that really. It would just be, it's interesting.
Definitely. And then going into that sort of, we've got a lot of game shows this Christmas coming up. A lot of revivals. You've got Blankety Blank with Bradley Walsh. We've got Alan Carr's Epic Game Show, which is a revival, The Price is Right. And then we've got Miranda's Games with Showbiz Names, which is a bit of a new format. Do you think people are going to want to see more of the revivals or more of these sort of new setups?
Well, I think they're all interesting, aren't they? Because you want to see for something like Blankety Blank, you're thinking, ooh, Bradley Walsh, is he going to be as good as Les, or is he going to be as good as Terry Wogan? I'm sure he will be. Let's face it, he's got plenty of practice at doing quiz shows. But for Miranda's, I mean, that sounds interesting, but because we haven't seen it and we don't know what it's going to look like, we'll just have to see. But I think people will want to watch that because Miranda, you know, we haven't seen much from her in recent years. So it would just be nice to see her back on the telly and check that she's still as funny as she used to be.
Oh, definitely. And she's got some quite big names there. You've got sort of Robbie Williams and his drummer, Shirley Ballas and her partner, Jermaine Genus. And then we've been told to look out for a mystery guest as well. And I think they're doing like a few games inside their house of silly things. So yeah, that'll definitely be an interesting one to watch. So another thing coming up is Motherland. There's an Xmas special, and I think that's ahead of the third series. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yes, I think I love Motherland. I think it's really funny. And the idea of just them at Christmas already, it's going to be a disaster. It always is. Everything in their lives is always a disaster. So definitely, I'll be watching that. And I think people will just want to see what's happening with them, because however badly your Christmas is going, you can guarantee theirs will be going worse.
Yeah, definitely. Another fun one we got. So there's no like dancing on ice special, but there's dancing on thin ice. If you get it with Torval and Dean. So they're sort of going back and seeing if they can skate on a frozen mountain. Do you think this will capture our imaginations?
Well, I like the idea of it. I mean, apparently it's their lifelong dream is to go and do presumably Bolero, because that's the one that we always think of, but in the wild, in the open. And what actually happened was they went over to Alaska, and it was the warmest winter on record, and lots of the ice had melted. So but it turns into a bit of an environmental thing where they're looking for the ice so they can actually go and do this skating dream of theirs. I imagine they find some in the end. But I just think it's nice to have something a bit different. You know, we've seen them on Dancing on Ice. We know that they're, we know what they're like on that. But this will just be about them and some wilderness. And yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very different. And then we've got All Creatures Great and Small, and you're looking forward to this.
I am. I really like it. It's because it's sort of gentle drama that washes over you, but it's really well done, and the stories are all nice. And again, it's all been done before, but it doesn't matter because it's the modern day version, and this Christmas special is all. If people watch the first series, which was a big hit on Channel 5, they'll want to see what happens between James. There's a bit of a love triangle going on at the moment between James and Helen and Hugh, who she's supposed to be getting married to. But will she get married to him? My money's on not.
Ooh, not a happy Christmas. So there's not a lot of drama around this year, or less than usual. Why do you think that is?
I think there's a bit less because some things just got held up in the pandemic, and things that might have been due to deliver haven't been finished in time. There doesn't seem to be quite as. I mean, that might be why there's all these extra game shows being filled in as well. But there is some drama. There's The Serpent starting on BBC One, which is Jenna Coleman doing. Something set in the 70s, and it looks a bit gangstery, a bit thrillery. It looks beautifully shot and nice sort of nostalgia for those of us that were around in the 70s. Not you, Carl, probably. And then there's this thing called Black Narcissus, which is set in the Himalayas, and it's about nuns, and that sounds fascinating as well. Yeah. We've got that, and there are, as you say, there's the Roland Beatrix thing on Sky, and there's loads of drama on the streaming channels. Obviously, Netflix and Amazon and Disney Plus have got stacks of things. So, but presumably these were all things that have been made before. Yeah.
Well, you'd hope.
Yeah.
We've also got a lot of cooking shows, a lot of competition here. We've got Mary Berry Saves Christmas, Celebrity MasterChef Christmas Cook-Off, and as you hear, the Great Christmas Bake-Off, and Prue with her lovely blue dyed hair. What one of these are you most looking forward to?
I'm not great on watching cookery shows at Christmas for some reason. Maybe it's because I just have to concentrate on what I'm doing. But I think the Bake-Off thing will be popular because people like to see former contestants who were good at the time coming back and seeing what they've been up to. Prue's got weird coloured hair, so and Tom Allen's doing it, and he's funny, isn't he? So
yeah. That was because Noel Fielding's on paternity leave, wasn't he, when they filmed it? He's coming. And
Mary Berry, you couldn't have Christmas without Mary Berry doing something, and this time she's saving Christmas. So and the idea, I quite like the idea that it's people who really can't cook having a go with Mary's sort of tuition and instruction. So it makes it feel a bit more like normal people, and you can see if it's actually feasible. We don't all have to be great chefs to be able to, or maybe we do. Maybe it's all a disaster and they all eat pot noodle for Christmas Day because it's all going to. I imagine it's and that's quite, people can maybe try it at home or be inspired. yeah, get different people cooking rather than just the same people who always do it.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it wouldn't be Christmas to get you got Doctor Who coming back on New Year's Day. Captain Jack, played by John Barrowman, is back again. Do you think this one will keep us entertained?
I think it'll be good because it involves Daleks, everybody's favourite enemy, and Captain Jack. I mean, John Barrowman is so good as Captain Jack. And in the last series, in the episode that he popped up, he was only in it for a little bit, but he was so good, and it was the most exciting. It's the best episode, I thought, easily. So to have him at Christmas is nice and fitting. And yeah, it sounds like, so for people that have been watching it, the Doctor's stuck in a intergalactic prison somewhere where the Jadoon have left her, and she has to get back. And then we know that Bradley Walsh's character and Tosin Cole's character are leaving. So there's, and yeah, so it sounds like it will be quite emotional as well, which will be nice.
I mean, quite apt that she's locked up around this time.
Yeah, exactly. We know what that's like.
And then we've also got another one that's always a big hit on Christmas, Call the Midwife, on Christmas Day. It's a 90-minute whopper. What can we expect to see from this?
From what I can remember, it's 1965, and there's the usual mixture of sad. I think that one of the main stories is a character that we've seen before having a troubled birth from a previous series is back in it again, and having potentially another baby. So hopefully all goes well there. But it always does well, Call the Midwife, because it just makes you feel good, and it's not, even though it's got sad bits in it, it's not too sad. And yeah, 90 minutes of that on Christmas Day, I think I can manage, definitely.
Yeah, no, especially this. We don't want any tears this Christmas. Guys, that's it. We've had a long look at everything. Nicola, thanks very much for your expert, as per usual. And obviously, stay up to date with everything on Mirror Online. We're going to be doing stories about all these programs. And yeah, have a Merry Christmas and enjoy the telly.
Thanks. Bye.